Good evening and welcome to SLR's round 2 for tier 2. We are at the sunny, for once, Silverstone circuit for the British Grand Prix this evening. I will be your commentator this evening, Kebab, and we've got the original gangster, Ocean Chief, by my side, filling in for Wham Stappen, who's getting ready for his hospital visit this week. Wish him the best of luck if he is watching.
What's up, homies? OC live from the ghetto. The ghettos of Britain.
See who we've got first on the track at the moment. It looks like it's Eversnacks who's going to get the lap in first, making his return after losing the championship last season. Maybe hopefully looking for a good result here today. This man's got some serious pace, but new tier, new drivers around him. What do you think he's going to be able to do this time? He's just unbelievably quick, this guy, though, so I think he should be challenging near or around the top 5 or 6, do you think?
Yeah, I expect big things. Now, he did sandbag hard and say, oh, I didn't get any practice, but we saw in Tier 4 what Eversnacks is capable of. Everybody, when he was driving Tier 4, was like, he's Tier 2 pace or Tier 1 pace, so yeah, now this season we get a chance to see how he does fare. He missed the first race. This will be his first kind of dip into Tier 2 as a full-time driver. So yeah, worth keeping an eye on Eversnacks, who is rocking that Alpha, and I have to say I'm a bit jealous. That is usually my car of choice. But today, Eversnacks is gracing that seat. And yeah, he looks... I reckon he's going to do pretty well in this race. I think, like I say, top 5, top 6 for quali probably. But what we're going to see is a lot of guys probably try and get a sneaky medium run-in. And we've seen throughout the week, some guys are actually pretty fast on the mediums.
Yeah,
Meepo did a 27 flat in practice. Hasn't been able to replicate that in a qualifying session just yet, but...
I can't replicate that in a TT session, never mind. Never mind a qualifying session, but 27 flat on mediums, yeah, that is very very rapid. But it looks like he's following on board there with Eversnacks for his lap. He looks very clean so far. Nothing major in the way of oversteer, understeer, or anything, but obviously he's probably not pushing it particularly hard just yet. But we'll see what kind of time he can bring in a moment.
Yeah, Sector 2 time looked good. I reckon that he's on for a low 27 here. Gets a wee bit squirrely on the exit. Oh, actually a high 27, so not a bad banker lap, but he will want to improve on that if he wants to remain at the top of the standings.
Certainly will. Well, yeah, I mean, he is top of the standings currently. As some more times come in, we've got a 28 flat, a 27.8 from Wesley, who did extremely well last week to get himself back up into P2 and collect a big haul of points. He'll be looking to kick on from that this week, hopefully. And maybe, because he had a drive-through last week and a spin, I think. Hopefully, if he can keep it on all clean and safe, he might still be in the runnings for those podium spots. But Eagle Ghost is disqualified for being the wrong way. So I'm wondering,
that's odd.
What happened to him there? We've got Tunari coming back into the pits with no wing whatsoever. So he's had an incident of some nondescript description as well. We've got
I wonder if he had did he have a tangle with an Eagle Goose? I'm not sure. Maybe we'll hear from him in chat. Just while we're on chat as well, McKender saying hello, commentators. Kyoto, who is a Mercedes driver, was in the hospital, wasn't unable to make this race. Also in chat there, so hi guys. Also, like a bit of a backstory on Wesley. Wesley's teammate is not here today. Didn't register for the race, unfortunately. So have been practicing all week, so I do feel his pain. But unfortunately, if you don't register, you don't get the race today.
Yep.
And
once those reserves are locked in, they're locked in, aren't they? So.
That's it, yeah. Yuta going top there with a 27.3 on the softs, but I think today we're going to see low 26s, I think, are achievable in Tier 2. Especially, when Edge. I
think, don't know about yourself personally, but I found that Silverstone, it kind of ramps up quite a lot, the speed of the track by the rubber getting laid down on it. So I think you gain about maybe half a tenth, something like that kind of thing, just from the track speeding up. But Edge, 26.4 for his first lap. This guy is got unbelievable pace by the looks of it. 26.4. That is quick. That is
crazy.
Again, a second quicker than the next guy. Can he
Yeah.
improve on that as well? As I was just talking about there with the track ramp up.
That's the thing, Kebab. Edge, as we've seen in race one, he will probably improve on that. And there's a potential 25 on the board, but that might be a bit of a stretch.
Could it just be that he's got a really good lap in straight off the bat as well? And can he replicate that as well? We've got a car off or just going slow. I think he's just letting people past. It was an Alpha Tauri of either Schnell or Boosted, but Schnell's done very well to get up into the 27.8 on a set of mediums. So this guy, he could conceivably pinch P2 or so if he gets a good lap in on the softs. And Larson out there on the mediums as well has done a couple of laps in there. Meppo looks like he's going to come out on the mediums as well. So as you mentioned, there's a few drivers looking to maybe take advantage of the reverse strategy. We've got on board at the moment with Heap. It doesn't look like he's pushing at the moment, kind of thing. He's gone very slow through Maggots and Beckett.
Yeah, and just behind him actually, or maybe in front of him. Yeah, in front of him is Loff, and he is on for a stonker of a lap here. It's very low sector 2 time, so I'm imagining this is going to be another 26 on the board, and Loff, as we know, is able to compete at the top, at the front of the grid, and let's see how he does as he crosses the line. It's a 26.7, yes, indeed. Second driver into the 26s.
We get Heat get to P3 with a 27.2. I thought he was going slow through Maggots and Beckett, so I definitely think there's some time in his lap there. He was very hesitant. He lifted very early in Maggots and Beckett kind of thing, so maybe some more time to be found there as well. So I think we're going to find a few drivers getting into the coveted 26s, but Edge at the moment seems to be still the man to beat. And some of these guys as well, like, be looking to get closer to him this race, because last race he was the only driver who kind of stayed out of all of the trouble as well. So like he did win the race by a full pit stop, but maybe he would have had more of a challenge if people were kind of on his tail or pressuring him or something like that kind of thing, but that wasn't the case. We've got Ed Weather Ferrari going very, very wide in Luffield there to let people through. Just wants to make sure he's not getting in anybody's way at all, but if he spends too long off the track there, you will get disqualified, so he wants to get back on quick as possible.
Yep, a lot of drivers out there on their out laps. I don't see anybody on a lap at the minute, but I think Eversnacks might be one of the guys that's about to start his hot lap.
Meppo's just started his. I'm interested in following on board with Meppo here and see how he does on these mediums. Let's see on board with him here and get some good cameras. As we've got him coming down the first DRS straight at the moment. See what kind of time he's done at the end of here. So 27.7 on sector 1. Seems relatively fast. I'm not sure exactly the sector times. I've not really been paying much attention to them, but 27 seems like the ballpark for me on soft. So I think this is possibly going to be a very quick lap. See how he manages cops. I mean, been doing some practice with Meppo this week. He says he was running 5.5 wings, which can be a little dangerous in cops as he comes now into Maggots and Beckett. Got to be very brave here. Again, early shifts. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong then for Maggots and Beckett. People are kind of braking and slowing down a lot earlier. I wonder if that's the way to do it. We've got a slow-moving horse on the inside there, but getting out of Mippu's way as he comes around Stowe now. Wants to get a little bit of oversteer there, but he managed to save it and doesn't invalidate either. Brakes at the 100-meter board. Gets a good apex there, but not the best. But got to get down the power early on this final corner. See what he can do. So it's a 27.5.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's the highest of the medium runners currently.
That's definitely a great time, to be fair. I think obviously Schnell might look to beat that on softs if they come his way on the car. But Meppo looking good for a top 10 start on the mediums at the moment, which is terrific news. Terrific for him.
Yeah, that'll be a powerful strategy. Eversnacks abandons that hot lap. He invalidated, so he will peel into the pits here and put on a new set of tires. Go out and do it again.
So following on board with Christian at the moment in the Haas, who looks like he's on a hot lap as well. He's on a 28 flat so far on the soft. He'll be looking to improve. This is one of our reserves. I think I've raced against this guy in a practice session this week. He was pretty good. Let's see how he can do in his first race for SLR.
couple of guys jumping into the top 10 there, actually top 5. Jewel with a P5. Tenari, who's a reserve as well, P3 in the Ferrari.
Oh, well done, Tunari. That Finnish blood runs strong, as that's a big mistake from Christian in the Magnussen Beckett there. He totally misses the last apex, which is the most important one. So I'm wondering if this is still going to be on for an improvement. Misses the apex and stow as well, so just maybe a bit of understeer in this setup for him. But we'll see what kind of time he can do as he comes across the line, as he comes through club now. Let's see. 27.7, so he did improve by 2-3 tenths and gets himself up into the top 10. Well done, Christian. We've got Zeldrine as well as our other reserve driver today, who's languishing in P16 at the moment. He's coming into the pits. He'll be looking to get a better lap in, you would think. It's like Tenari might still be on a lap as well. Maybe? No, he's not using the DRS.
Two drivers currently have not, well, Eagle Ghost, of course, disqualified there, but Edward and Nabletic have yet to set a time, and it looks like Edward's on a slow lap at the minute, so he needs to get his skates on, get back to the pits if that's what he's thinking, and maybe stays out and does another run on these softs here.
Nabletic has shown flashes of pace as well in the first race, and he's on a lap at the moment by the looks of things as he comes down into Cops, and see how he takes this. He does lift a little bit, yeah, but he keeps it in 8th gear. That's the thing with that corner this year in this game kind of thing. In previous games, I've always thought it was just easy, flat kind of thing, but with the difference in setup, so he gets a bit sideways there, and Magnussen Beckett, he catches it though. Still gets a half-decent exit, but yeah, Cops at the moment kind of thing. It seems to be the make or break on your lap kind of thing. You should be taking it flat. Pretty much any time you're on good tyres. If you're on worn mediums, for example, maybe it's not a good idea to try and take a flat kind of thing. But there are a few people who are running setups that can't do that, and they lift a little bit. Oh, big twitch there, big twitch there from Nabletic, but he still puts it P6. So time to be found in his lap time there, you think. But has he got the time to get back round, get back into the pits, and get back out for another attempt? Well, a yellow flag there in the last sector. That looks like a... The Yoda Red Bull coming into the pit, so nothing major there. We've got the McLaren of Heat looks to be the only guy out at the moment. We've got some people on laps coming in at the moment kind of thing. So we've got Schnell there, who doesn't look like he's on a lap, but there is somebody behind him on a lap, maybe.
And Nabletic is staying out for a second run on these softs. He is slightly up on his time. He's approaching Cops again. I wonder if he's going to lift. He lifted a little bit again there, but just a tiny bit, as he heads through Magus Vegas now.
We've got Lavi Fasoli, he's coming at the pit, so nothing to be done there. We've got Christian as well, so I think it's going to be Loff first across the line here, followed by Nabletic, so we'll follow on board Loff, see what he can do. He looks to improve on his P2. I'm not sure if he's up at the moment or not, but he gets a good exit out. I
think he is a 10th flip, yeah.
So yeah, exactly a 10th, exactly 1/10. Well called.
Nabletic as well called it quits on that lap. He wasn't really improving as he headed into the final sector, so decides to save the tires.
Christian coming around the final corner now. Then let's see what he can do. Can he improve on his P10 and secure a top 10 finish? He can. P8. He goes with 3 laps on those softs. So he's going to be a bit worn for the race though, so maybe he wants to hope for an early safety car to get off of those. But the softs can go, say, 15 laps or so here at the long end kind of thing, but maybe you want to pit a little earlier because they lose a bit of pace as soon as you hit a cliff pretty early, I think. Got a few guys coming out now for their out laps maybe. I've got Joel on a lap there at the moment. Not sure. Loft doesn't look like he's on a lap anymore. He's given up on that one. Ooh, yellow flag there from an Alpha Tauri. Was that boosted with an error? He didn't invalidate, so I think it's just Loft going slow in front of him. Boosted not on a lap as it stands anyway, so that's what the yellow flags are for, I guess. Just drivers going slow.
Yeah, riding on board with Joel at the minute. He's full send through cops. Reckon we could see a big improvement.
Big
Oh, and he
invalidation though.
invalidates.
Yeah,
So that is
just
not
caught
going to be an
that
improvement.
on the entry to
P7.
Magnussen Beckett. Yeah.
Yeah, I expected him to go much faster here today, but obviously you need to keep the lap valid for it to count. And Eversnack's crossing the sector 2 line there. He was almost 3/10 up in his time. He's currently P10, so 3/10 could jump him up a few spots here, at least one.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs to maybe find 4/10 to maybe jump up above Nabletic. There's a big tight group there of Christian, Joel and Nabletic who've all got the same time, but I think for Joel, like you say, it may be not reflective of his true race pace, but he does improve by 4/10 and puts it P7. So,
Ooh, and Meepo as well just improved just ahead of him there on those old mediums, 27.1 for him, so P5 on mediums, strong strat in place for Meepo for today.
yeah, you think, I'm wondering, like, with Loft doing a 26.6 and Edge doing a 26.4, Edge still hasn't managed to beat that. He's on a lap at the moment, so we'll follow on board to him and see what he can pull out of the rabbit hat. As let's see, look, he does lift for cops as well, so there's a lot of that going on. And invalidated as well, even though he lifted as well. So that's that over for him. Let's see if there's anybody else we can follow on board with. So we've got Tunari, looks like he's on a lap. Just starting it as he comes out of, is that? I can never remember the names of the corners in Silverstone for some reason. There's a few I can always remember, and there's ones that I just can never remember, like these two sets. I think Luffield and Brooklands? I can't remember if they're even names of corners on this track.
Just pretend you know what you're talking about.
I mean,
say it with confidence.
Story of my life, man. Story of my life. But
I know.
Yoda going into P3 there with a 26.9.
Snell's abandoned this whole medium strat. He's on the softs at the minute, and he's going pretty fast through cops. So I reckon we might see him jump up the order a little bit here. We will get a sector 2 time coming up just on the exit onto the hangar straight. Usually 103 low is a good indication of a good lap, and it is a 103 low. 6/10, yeah. Should be a good lap for Schnell. We probably will gain some time in this final sector on these stuffs as well.
So got Tunari about to cross the line here as well as we come back to him just for a moment. See what kind of time he can do. Can he unsettle the top three? He can't. He was 3/10 up, but did he invalidate it or something? 27 flat.
Ooh.
But Snell goes 3, 6, 7/10 up there as well. Gets 27 flat as well. Gets himself P5, pushing Meepo down a little bit more. But Meepo at the moment looks very, very good for this race. Win if he can get a good start in this GP. Looks like they've got everybody that we're going to have. As Futuristic puts it P7 actually. Yeah. Makes a big improvement there. So I think he was on the mediums as well. But looks like that might be our grid.
Boosted was just behind him, but yeah, it pulls into the pits, abandons his lap, invalidated. Once more, we'll start P16, but yeah, look at that, the order of the grid. Edge, Loft, Yoda, the usual suspects up there, but we've got the new driver, Tenari, a bit of a dark horse. Finish driver, so he should be quick.
I mean, can a finish driver ever be a dark horse? I mean, we all know. Every finish driver that seems to turn up seems to be doing well. I mean, if you look at that, 3 of them in the top 8 here today.
Yeah.
We've got the. I'm very surprised by Joel's time there. Like, I remember some of the guys were putting in some really quick times there at the end, kind of thing, and it looks like a very, very tight grid. These 2 guys at the top, though, Loft and Edge, seem to have a great deal more pace than everybody else, kind of thing. Just maybe it's just qualifying pace. We haven't really seen enough of the season yet to determine how these guys are going to do race after race after race, kind of thing. Can Edge hold off Loft this time? And stay out of both stay out of trouble, because Loft got in trouble in Imola, and we're still very competitive though. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see what's going to happen. I think we're going to have a dry race, as we'll just check on the chat situation. Got lots of interest in chat going on.
Yeah. DRS, someone pointed out the DRS train in early race. That's a big feature of this track, is the DRS train. If you can stay in with the lead pack, you know, you do have a chance of winning the race by getting that overtake done in the final laps of the race.
Yeah, certainly do. I mean, if he can get his elbows out and protect that lead, but at the same time, he's got to recognise that there is guys on soft who are looking going to be quicker at the start. Essentially, they're going to be quicker. He's got the pace on those mediums to maybe compete with them, but maybe he wants to give up a position here and there as long as he stays within the DRS train, like we say. But I don't think Silverstone is as bad as Imola for a DRS train, as we've got the formation lap to come first. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Looks like we've got a very tight grid from like P3 down to P15, 14, 15, 16, something like that kind of thing. You can say any of those guys can finish in the top 10. And I think Eagle Ghost got disqualified early on in that session as well, so we don't know what's going on there. DSQ there for Larson.
He never got off the grid. Maybe a technical issue?
Possibly. Hopefully he can get that fixed, as we've got a Williams of Nobletic, I think that was, maybe. Spinning very sideways there, but he caught it.
Looked very weird. Yeah, looking at Strat as well, obviously you got P6 Maple on those medium tires, looking pretty good. But outside the top 10, we've got P12, P13, P14, and then last place Eagles P20 on mediums. Everyone else opting for those soft tires. So, yeah, I mean, if there is a safety car today, it will really shake things up depending on when it comes out. Hopefully, the soft guys will want it to come out a bit earlier, and the medium guys will want it to come out later in the race. But
that's the thing with this reverse strategy, isn't it? Is that if there is a safety car, which is always a possibility, but I think there's less chance of a safety car here at Silverstone than most other tracks, because generally if you come off the track, you're going to stay off the track, and if you die in a barrier here, you're usually a veritable mile away from the track, so safety cars are rare. But they can happen still. So like an early safety car, like you say, anything at lap 4 onwards is great for the softs. They can pit off those and maybe go for a hard strategy, or look after the mediums for a long stint, which is also possible as well. But the mediums, it feels as though you've got to have a very specific safety car for the medium to work out, kind of thing. Like if those soft guys get that safety car earlier, then the medium strategy is just out the window. Like you've got to stay out on the mediums. You've got to go for the softs at the end, and if the safety car comes at the wrong time, it can really put a spanner in the works. But let's see if we can get a good camera angle here for the start. Edge will be hoping for a good one here, because that inside line into turn 1, you don't want somebody there. Basically, you want to be able to turn in freely. I cannot get a good camera angle. There's a good camera angle, as we'll take away the UI as well, as we looking for the lights here for the start of the British Grand Prix in Tier 2. We have 1 light, 2 lights, 3, and away we go. Maybe not. Now we're away, and it looks like Edge has got a good start there, but Love has got a good one as well. He is alongside. The Red Bull sniffing for scraps in the background, but it looks like a clean run through turn 1 for Edge, as a Ferrari gets around the outside of the Red Bull, but the Red Bull's fighting back there. Red Bull on the inside of Loft now, and gets the inside there. Up Brooklands, and we've got an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, Christian involved in a heavy crash here, lost his front wing altogether, down in P19. Joel as well, going quite wide, but managed to survive, hold on to P12. So plenty of action in the opening laps of this race.
Yeah, still a big battle here between this Ferrari and the Red Bull here as well. The Ferrari of Yoda and the Red Bull of Ferrari Tenari, sorry, and the Red Bull of Yoda, but it looks like Tenari's got the better of that fight at the moment. Meppo moves up a position into P5 as well. Does extremely well there. It looks like Lavi Fasola's made up a lot of positions as well. So great start, clean start for the majority of people. Only Christian seems to have lost out. I've got Eagle Ghost dropping places there quickly. I think that's maybe an error he's made in Cops and been taken advantage because of it. We've got some close action there from the Mercs and the Haas in through Magnussen Beckett's there. Going to be very careful as you go through there, but great start from Edge. You've got to say he's got a second gap already. Looks like he's going to try and run away with this one again, but great stuff from the guys at the front there. Some brilliant racing at the front.
Yeah, he as well had a good start there. He got an overtake done on Snell on Sector 2. Again, we're seeing Wesley dropped on the order as Wesley. Oh, he's into the pit, so I think Wesley's had a bit of contact with someone along the lines. I did see him in Boosted Mess. Boosted Mess did get a move done on him. I don't know if he already had a damage at that point, but that might have been the point where he did pick up that damage. So
yeah,
not going well for Wesley at the minute. We'll be praying for a safety car as he's pitting lap 2 is not ideal.
Yeah, and he's pitting at the same time as his teammate. So Christian might get held up in the pits here as well. Bit of a delay there. I know he gets straight in, but yeah, it might be delayed getting the tyres off. It certainly is, yeah. So a bit of a delay there for Christian as well, coming at the same time as his teammate. Eversnacks, just check in on him as he's at the back of a DRS train here with Joel behind him. Big train going all the way down there from P1 all the way down to P11 at the moment. So as soon as DRS starts, maybe some moves will be starting to happen, kind of thing. But yeah, looks like Loff has managed to crawl back that gap that Edge had made. So maybe things are just settling in a bit now. Eversnacks may be close to making a move here. Not close enough, maybe. Sniffing all over the back of Futuristics Red Bull there. Looks for a move into Stowe, but thinks better of it. Thinks maybe we just kind of stay in a train at the moment.
Yeah, and there was more action at the back of the pack there as Edward gets past Eagle Goose, so Edward up to P17 on the Ferrari.
Looks like
also saw a move
Nebletic's coming into the pits there as well, so maybe some damage for Nebletic also.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So
and a
yeah.
5-second speeding penalty as well to boot.
Yeah. Not ideal. Not ideal.
Actually, see, Wesley has a penalty as well, and it's also a 5-second penalty, so yeah, 2 guys who pitted, 2 out of 3 got 5-second speeding penalties. Not their day today at all.
At all, no. But anything can happen. Wesley knows this as much as anybody, as he spun and had a drive-through last week and still came P2. So a safety car or something like that can really mix things up. These guys opting for the mediums, all these guys who have come into the pits. I don't know if they're going to get to the end from lap 2-3, but if you take really good care of them, maybe you might stretch them there, but I think you probably need a safety car or something to kind of ease the stress on those tyres a little bit. In the middle of that, might have to go onto the softs again later, so probably hoping for a later safety car so they can switch back onto the softs and then be back in the race. But tough times for a few drivers, but this train still going down to P11.
Yeah,
it's going to be tricky for anybody in this to overtake, but this is where you earn your bucks as a racing driver. Essentially, you've got to be aggressive. You've got to use your ERS well. Let's have a look at the situation there. So a few people down to 30% or so.
And Joel going wide there at Wood Southern Corner, Woodstow. I don't know what you call that one. But yeah, he went wide and lost, I think, at least one position there. Eversnack's getting past.
I think Eversnacks was already ahead of Joel there, so maybe he's still right on the back of him though. So Joel managing to stay with the pack even with that error. Maybe he needs to look to get some move done, because those mediums, if he's quicker than the guys in the softs or the mediums at the moment, he needs to take full advantage of that, get past them. But now's the time to do it as well. If you're in this train, you need to kind of do all you can to get past the guy in front, I would say, so that you're further ahead in the train in order to...
Loff has creeped up. He's making inroads in this gap, and he's actually dropping Tenari behind. So are we seeing a lead pack breakaway here?
Possibly,
Edge and Loff?
Yeah, possibly. Got some gaps turning up elsewhere as well. We've got a second there from Yoda to Meepo and a second from Meepo to Lavi for Soul. So we'll maybe start seeing some action now, some battling as these guys start to create... I can't think of the word now, but if there's no DRS, there's an overtake to be had. So Heat looks as though he's going to make a move on Lavi for Soul. He gets it done very early down that straight there. And... oh, is Chanel looking on the inside of Lavi for Soul as well? Doesn't do it in the end, but had the option there. The door was open. But yeah, some moves to be had. So he gets a position there, and he'll now look to chase after those medium tyres of Meepo. Meepo struggling to hang on at the back of the soft runners in the top 4 at the moment, but the fact that he's still there in the top 5 on mediums puts him in a great position to win this race as well. So Edge cannot really relax at the moment because of Meepo. Like Loff is all over the back of him, causing him pressure and things as well. Can he deal with this pressure and still get those laps in to kind of fend off Meepo as well? That's going to be tough. But a yellow flag.
Another big factor, Kebab, is if you look at the ERS of Loff, he's almost full on his ERS, where Edge is like 60%, so he's gaining back some. But obviously that is a huge advantage for Loff as well. Can keep this pressure up and hopefully force Edge into a mistake.
But the thing is, his other thing as well is that he's got 90 odd percent now. I think he's got to use some of this, and if he uses it, he's going to overtake, which he doesn't necessarily want to do. The best position to be in any race is in P2. If you've got the pace over P1, you've got
Ooh.
the ability to save a lot of. Oh, we've got a DNF.
Yeah,
We have a
spin
DNF,
out
and
of
that.
hairpin. Yeah, it looks like
Yeah, so
Larson span it out.
no safety car so far. Let's see, he's there. Yeah, just lost it on there. Maybe got on too much onto that curb there, and then it's pulled the car to the left. But he's well off the track. I would have expected that if anything was going to be a safety car, I would have thought that would be a safety car. But turns out not. But yeah, I guess he's just got a bit too wide there on the exit. Got his tyres into the grass or the gravel on the other side of that curb, and it's just pulled him into the barriers. And good night, Larson. That's unusual for him. He's usually a very clean, safe driver. Usually makes it to the end.
Oh, Darrow G as well out. It looks like just from the exit Maggots Beggots.
Yeah, we'll follow on board with Nebletic, see if we can see what happened to him.
Yeah,
No
just
car
on the
there,
right-hand
yeah,
side there.
on the right hand side, yeah, so yeah, that's unfortunate for him as well. But we've got things catching people out. There he is in the wall, so I guess if he's just taking too much of the inside curb of the last apex in Maggots and Beckett, and it's just thrown him into that wall. That's something that I've done a lot in practice, personally. Got it wrong through Maggots and Beckett and just ended up being thrown off the track straight into a wall.
Yeah, and we're building up here. This steam is building up in this pressure pop between Edge and Loft. Loft was at 100% ERS there for Sector 1. So like you say, he really needs to just employ this and make full use of it as they are approaching that pit window, and you will pick up 30 to 40% ERS when you're in there.
Will Yoda
also
get the
behind,
move here on Tunari? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at the
yeah,
moment, kind of thing. He's going to go for the inside. Tunari doesn't seem to fight it too much. He knows he hasn't got the pace or the speed to defeat ERS and DRS. Just lets it go. And wisely done there. Good racing head on the fin. He's got Meepo up behind him now as well, kind of thing. He's going to have to fight that a little bit harder because Meepo is on the medium tyres and he will lose that position eventually anyway. So I wonder whether or not he wants to actually fight that hard. But we've got a purple sector 3 there from Yoda as a time penalty comes in for Edward. So we're going to see some of those.
Zeldrine through the final corner, almost side by side. Oh, boosted, taps the back wheel of Zeldrine, and I believe he picked up a bit of damage from that. I think I saw some carbon fiber flying off, and he does indeed go slow through turn 1.
Yeah,
so
looks like there's a bit of an end plate missing there for Boosted Mess. He'll be frustrated with that for sure. But if you're going to get damaged, this is the time to get it. You can pit early, maybe go for the mediums, extend the medium stint, and still do well. But maybe he wants to kind of stay out for another lap or two, see if somebody else comes off and into the barriers at Maggots and Beckett or so. But we've got to see some gaps form. We have got a big train here from Heat down to Eversnacks. Joel has got the move done on Eversnacks as well. So Eversnacks struggling at the moment. Maybe he wasn't lying about that lack of practice, but struggling at the moment at Silverstone.
Yeah, and I think the softs are falling. They're getting to that point where they're starting to fall off. And we do see a move up front as well. Edge getting passed by Loft, so Loft has decided now is the time. He's using a lot of that ERS up. He still has 80% left, so much more than Edge as they go for these final corners. And we'll see what Edge can do in response to that.
Certainly will, yeah. But with that ERS advantage kind of thing, Loft has to be able to break away with that ERS advantage. And I don't think he's got a big enough advantage over Edge yet. And Edge still has a great deal of pace. Now he's got Slipstream and he can save ERS himself by just hanging on at the back of him and using DRS to close the gap. To kind of counteract the ERS that Loft might use. But Loft isn't actually using it. He's holding on to it at the moment. He knows there's not a move to be made here. But yeah, up to 64% there, just in one straight from Edge. So now he can save up his ERS kind of thing. I've got Loft at 100%. Don't know how this is going to work out there with that ERS battle, but it's a good one. One to keep an eye on. We've got Tunari still doing extremely well to hang on at the back of Yoda, and Meppo on the back of Tunari as well. I've got to say, very impressed with Meppo's pace on these mediums as well. He's put himself in a fantastic position for this race. These two guys at the front, Loft and Edge, did they even know about this guy, Meepo? Lurking 2 cars back. They can't see him. They don't know he's there. Do they know that they've got a medium runner to fight with 4 positions back?
Yeah, and I wonder if Yoda played a part in that move by Loff on Edge, as Loff holds on to that P1. I thought Edge might have tried to get it back
Oh,
on this
Edge
lap.
is coming
Edge
into the
hitting.
pits. Early pit from Edge. So he's going for the undercut. Will Loff cover this off, or is he just going to kind of stay out and use up some more ERS? Because he needs to do that. He's got a gap now to the guy behind. He needs to kind of burn through this ERS now. Get a couple, maybe. Maybe he can do 2 or 3 really good laps with this ERS. Burn as much as he can. And get the overcut. Is that going to work? Let's see where Edge comes out, though. Like, he's got a good pit stop there, by the looks of things. Already on the mediums.
Well, we're starting to see Loff use his CRS, and I guess this was the rainy day he was saving up for.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Edge in the pits, he's going to push for the next couple of laps and try to cancel out that undercut effect.
Yeah, importantly, Edge comes out into clean air, no traffic. He's behind Edward, quite a distance behind Edward, so you've got time to catch up to him as well. So that's very important for Edge in his pit stop. Important to get out into clean air so you're not held up by anybody and slow down on this first lap on the mediums, because obviously Loff out there at the moment, absolutely hammering it on the softs. Is he going to come in? That's the question. Like, he's got down to 60% ERS, so if he comes in now, he'll be back up to 100% nearly. And does he need to cover off that undercut? That's the thing. Like those medium tyres, are they going to be quicker than his softs at the moment? Let's see his lap time as he comes across. If he comes across the line, or if he comes in. Let's see. He looks like he's coming in. He's coming in. Yeah. So let's see what the guys behind do. Are they going to stay out? They are. Yoda stays out. Tunari stays out. And Meppo obviously is going to stay out on those mediums. So Meppo has got a good chance here if he's got the tyres. His tyres are still there. 100% in the window, whereas these softs of 9-lap-old softs on Tonari and Yoda are going to start to struggle now.
Indeed, and Eversnack's also deciding to pit. Joel picking up a time penalty. So plenty of action at the minute.
Yeah, certainly is. It's hard to keep up with it. Lavi Fasol doing extremely well to stay where he is on the back of Chanel Henke. Could be a battle on soon here. Maybe if he gets a good exit here, you can close the gap a bit, but I don't think he's too far now at the moment. I think you've got to be within a couple of tenths to make a move down this straight. The second straight, Wellington Straight, I think it's called, or Hangar Straight. This is Wellington Straight, the other one's Hangar Straight.
Loft just exited the pits there, and I don't know why or how, but he's 4.5 seconds behind.
Is that how powerful the undercut is? Like, did he get held up in the pits? That's huge. I mean, I'm sorry, I've missed that for the viewers, but should have been paying more attention to that particular battle. But that is absolutely huge. That means Edge has got a lot of breathing room now. That seems to have paid off massively for him. So the only thing I can think of, 4.5 seconds, the only thing I can think of is he's got a really bad pit entry or a really bad pit exit, and it's cost him a lot of time, or he's been held up in the pit stop, but there's nobody even around him at the moment. So maybe he got held up on the way in, couldn't get into his pit box. Who's the other? Well, we haven't got another. Darrow 5G is the other Aston Martin, so it was this guy. So Yoda picks up a 5-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane as well. And Tunari comes in behind him as well. Meppo obviously stays out, takes lead of the race. And now we're going to see what kind of gap we've got there to the leader. So Edge 23 seconds at the moment behind Meppo. And looks as though he's gaining that, but maybe not a huge amount. But we'll keep an eye on that interval as well, because Meppo could conceivably be in the lead of the race at the moment. 23 seconds, I don't think it is, but that's the fastest lap from Edge on the mediums, as we see a myriad of pits there from the soft runners. So 11 laps, that seems to be what all they can manage on those softs. Nebletic on the 6-lap-old softs, he'll need to pit again for mediums at some point as well.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Loff. He has Yuta just came out of the pits there, so he was racing Yuta against Loff there, but Loff just getting that position, and that will be key for him as he's 0.5 ahead of Sir Yuta at the minute.
Yeah, that gives Yoda DRS now for the battle that he's been having all race long with Tunari, who's...
I'm just wondering, was it the fact that Loff had a bad in or out lap there, rather than Edge having a particularly good in or out lap? Because, Yuta also made massive gains on Loff. So I think, Loff is at fault there. Whatever happened, if
possibility,
he didn't
yeah. I mean, you can check the race director and see what kind of how his in lap or his pit lap compared to Edge's, but it seems to have possibly cost him the race here. But Meepo still definitely within a shout, but that gap to leader is coming down from Meepo. So like at the moment, he's got to kind of get all he can out of these medium tyres at the moment. Really put his foot down in order to pit lap 15, 16, 17 or so to go on at the softs, and then he's going to be absolutely rapid on the softs. But when he comes out on those softs, he needs to be in a position close enough to edge to kind of catch up and get the move done as well, which may not be maybe easier said than done when it comes to that stage.
And race director does indeed indicate that he was 4 seconds slower on his in lap than edge, so that costs Loff massively here. As you see, the gap is 4.8.
Must have made a big mistake then. Must have made a big mistake, because he was hammering the ERS. He was using it all. So yeah, maybe he was hammering that ERS too much, made a mistake. But Yoda all over the back of him at the moment. Like, could he now be in danger of losing his podium, Loff? That would be sad to see.
Yeah, looks like Yoda is going to send an inside. Tenari as well.
Nah, he's backed out. He's backed out of it. Rightly so, I think. There was going to be a bit of a lunge, that one. If he went for it, it would have been an aggressive move. But if Loff sees him coming and gets out of the way, it would have been a fair one. But if Loff doesn't see him coming, or just doesn't want to move out of his way, it all of a sudden becomes unfair. And then there's also putting Loff's race at risk, which I don't think he wants to do either. But some great racing to be had here. Tunari is hanging on at the back of these like nobody's business. I'm very, very impressed with this guy. Typical Finn, just jumps in a car, immediately good at it.
Yeah.
What is the deal with that? What is the deal?
Finish, ice cold blood. But yeah, I mean, we've a tale of two races here. Meepo in one race, and Edge, Loff, and the rest in another race. And I think Meepo is looking pretty good for a race win if he doesn't throw it away in typical Meepo fashion.
Move that looks like it could be odds on at the moment with Schnell all over the back of Nebletic. I don't know if he's got enough in the tank to do it. He's not using boost at the moment, so Nebletic defends the inside. He's going to go for the outside. He's not going to get it done at the moment, kind of thing, but he's all over the back of him on those mediums. He's going to like to get it done soon, I think. Soon is the operative word for that one. See if we can follow, how closely he can follow through Magnus and Beckett. He's 2/10 behind at the moment, kind of thing. Is he going to be able to get a move done? He's Nebletic's covering the inside and cops. He's
going to compromise his exit here as he runs wide, but he has got a slower exit, and now does get the move done. Run the outside before they enter Magus Beckett's, but this might go against Snell, who DRS detection point is going to favour Nebletic here, who will get DRS all the way down to the Hanger Straight. He will have ERS as well, and we'll be able to get this move done. He's
going to use the boost as well. I think Schnell isn't going to fight it too hard, but good racing from them both. He's not going to fight, he just didn't want to fight that at all, kind of thing. I think he's just happy to save up, but Joel at the moment just save up. What's that? Never heard of it. Down to 6% he is. He was still using boost there, but he is falling off the back of Mepo. So big pace difference between those at the moment on the two people on the medium strategy. But
yeah, Schnell up to P11 there as Nebletic pits off those softs and on the mediums, I believe.
So Schnell, I think, was playing the long game there. He knew that Nebletic couldn't hold on to that position in a million years because he had to pit for the soft, get off the softs. They weren't going to last forever. So Schnell just doing the right thing there. If any young whippersnappers are listening and looking for tips, sometimes you don't have to race all that hard to get the position. Sometimes they just fall in your lap like that one. But Futuristic and Heat at the moment in a little bit of a train. Lavi for Soul behind them as well. Maybe some moves to be had here as they head towards Maggots and Beckett's as well. As Yoda and Tunari got a little train behind Loft there as well, but that's been stagnant for a while now. Let's see what moves are done here. Is Futuristic going to use his boost? He is. He's using overtake. He's looking to get on the inside maybe. He doesn't go for the inside. Like late move to defend from Heat. Futuristic didn't make his intentions clear very early, but Lafi Fasol again can't do anything because he's got to wait for Futuristic to make the move, but they are pushing each other around the corners. And Tunari gets a time penalty as well, so let's have a look at those time penalties there at the top. So 5 seconds for Yoda, Tunari with 3 seconds. Means that he's got to be very careful he doesn't make any mistakes, kind of thing, and drop off the back of Yoda. He needs to stay within 2 seconds of him now, and he'll get that position. But Yoda, that penalty could be costly for Yoda. I can't remember. That must have got it on the way into the pits. I'm sure you mentioned it, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
and the gap between Loft and Edge has pretty much stabilized at this point, 4.7, 4.8 ever since that pit stop. I'm looking at Meepo as well, and I'm wondering, is he going to pit this lap? I mean, really, you want to make the most out of those soft tires. Maybe he's thinking I'll stay a bit longer just in case there's a safety car. But yeah, really, he's in the prime window here for softs, and he
He's got a
does
pit
indeed
now.
go into the pits.
Now, will
And I think
Joel follow suit as well, or does he think he's got more time in those
Joel's staying
tyres?
out.
Joel's staying
Joel
out, so
he's currently chanting "safety car, safety car."
I bet he is. If the safety car does come out as he enters the pits, that could be huge for Joel. It means that he gets the softs and keeps the lead of the race, kind of thing. But
Yeah. The
let's
question
see
is now,
where
where does Meepo come out? Is
in
he gonna
relation to
be?
Edge, yeah. Like I think Edge is going
Yeah.
to get him certainly, but like if he stays ahead of Loft, which is a possibility, I think.
It's gonna be tight. Yeah. I think Love might just get it, and there is a small train behind Love as well. So Meepo has his work cut out for him, but he will be up to about 2 seconds
Yeah.
per lap faster than these guys.
So yeah, he didn't get those guys in the end, kind of thing. He really wanted to be ahead of that little train there, I think, but he's behind them, ahead of Heat by 3 seconds. So now he's got the quicker tyres, which are roughly at this stage of the race 1 to 2 seconds quicker than the mediums. So he is going to have absolute blistering pace to these other guys. He should be able to catch up at the back of this train pretty quick, few laps maybe, but he's only got 10 laps to get this done. Catch up to the back of them, overtake all 3 of them, and then catch up a 4-second gap to Edge as well. So maybe it can't be done, but the race is on. Meepo has it in his own hand. Edge has it in his own hands. I think a mistake from Edge could maybe gift it, but he's got to get through 3 or 4 drivers, Meepo, before he can even challenge Edge, and that's what Edge wants, essentially.
Yep, and Joel indeed pulls into the pits here. Will come out around about, I'd say, P8 at this point.
I think he's going to be P7 essentially. Heat's going to be ahead of him maybe, but Heat, Futuristic and Lavi for Soul, that little train there, as Heat makes.
Oh, and Futuristic and Heat battling pretty hard here.
Yeah, but Heat
right
managed to hold it around the outside, left the door open on the inside, I think, there. I'm not sure what I was looking at, but yeah, I think Heat left the door open on the inside because he thought Futuristic was there, but he's held the speed around the outside anyway and got it done. Let's see where Joel fixed into this here. So he's down to P10 at the moment. So yeah, dropped quite a bit. So a bad pit stop maybe. Because he was only...
Oh, he served his 5 seconds as well. He had a 5
seconds. Yeah.
penalty, that's what it was, yeah. This battle between Futuristic and Heat is immense. I mean, Futuristic is about to send it again and take back that P6 spot. But how long is it going to be for, as there is another DRS? And you can see Heat is making a lot of mistakes here. He's under a lot of pressure, and
they're battling very hard. He's trying to get his nose up the inside there. That was a bit cheeky. But
yeah,
Navi Fasol, 84% ERS at the back of this train here. He's sitting in
I was going to say, those 2 alphas behind, that's why these guys are trying to get a hurry on. You can see Navi Fasol almost thinking about going for a move around the outside here, but yeah, thinks better off it. And Eversnacks as well, part of this trend. So it's all to play for P6 right now.
Heat not close enough to Futuristic, but it looks like Lavi Fasol's going to have a go on Heat now. He's got the inside. He didn't defend it. He's going to get boxed in here. He gets boxed away from the apex, but holds it around the outside anyway. That's great racing from Heat, you've got to say. He's done very well to hang on to that position there. Looked under a serious threat as Meepo sets the fastest lap, which you would expect. Joel might try and compete with him for that, but I don't think anybody else is going to be able to Eagle Ghost at the back of the grid. He probably doesn't have the pace.
Sorry, I came up with a big mistake there from Eversnacks, and it allowed Joel 8 to go up the inside of him on his third finish straight, and into turn 1, Joel takes that move to P9 on those fresh sauce, making them work pretty well. But he now has a 3-man DRS train ahead of him he has to navigate.
Certainly does. As Tsunari still all over the back of Yoda, but can't seem to get a move done. Because Yoda has DRS from Loft. Loft needs to drop the DRS to Yoda before Tanari can make a move. He's just stuck there. He hasn't got the minerals in the ERS tank to get past him. And Yoda at the moment, 71% he's sitting on, so sitting pretty there. But back to this battle here between Lavi Fasol, Heat and Futuristic, because it's still going on. The cargo is very wide there. That's Joel, who's now on the back of this, and Eversnack seems to be kind of dropping away from this fight now. Those softs of Joel, he may be able to make some headway through this group now. So he's got much more grip on those soft tyres. Follow on board with Joel as see if he's going to be able to get anything done. But no.
Ooh, free wide.
Free white there as we follow on board with
Aye.
Joel. Ooh, that was very tight from Futuristic, but he leaves the space there on the inside for Lavi Fasol. But he's got the inside now. He should be able to hold on to that position there, but he takes it back again. Brilliant racing from this group, you've got to say.
Meeple's had a spin at the final corner. He's P5. These guys are going to come up on him pretty fast. I think he is going to try and move down the inside for turn 1.
Gets it done.
Meepo and Lavi still picking up a 3-second time penalty there. So this is Meepo just joins this four-way battle now.
While Joel appeared on Futuristic there as he goes down the inside into Luffield and Brooklyn, I think that is kind of thing. But Joel making moves here as he gets through this pack. This pack is some exciting racing going on in this one here, you have to say. And Heat doing very well to stay onto it. But Meppo going around the outside of Heat. No, Heat squeezes him into the into the thing there. But as he got the inside again, Meppo takes the position back. Some good racing there. Meppo just has the better tyres. Nothing he can do about it. Is Joel going to make a move now as well? Is he going to do it into Cops? No, I think he's going to back out of it here because Lavi Fasol. But look at this battle. This is so tight, so late in the race as well. But Joel going around the outside into the turn 1 of Maggots and Beckett's kind of thing, and he backs out of it. Lavi Fasol goes very deep though. Worried about Joel there. Really put the panic on him. But Joel is now going to get a much better exit, I think, on Lavi Fasol. As he's got the boost, he doesn't seem to have enough ERS to get this move done. Joel doesn't have the ERS to get the move done down the straight, but outbreaks him up the inside anyway. Just more grip on those soft tyres kind of thing. And now he's got Heat in his sights as well. And he wants to maybe get Meepo. Is this the battle that we've got on now is now Joel and Meepo battling, which we didn't expect. But that mistake from Meepo, huge mistake from Meepo, unfortunate for him. Takes him really out of the running for the win of the race and hands it to Edge, who really has no competition at the moment. I don't think Loft can make up those 4 seconds.
Yeah, Loft has... He has got the gap down a little bit, but as we enter, like, we're 5-6 laps left of this race, I think time is running out for Loft. So it looks like P2 for him is the best he could do. As Joel looks like he's going to go for a move on Heat. Is he going to run the inside here? He does. He makes that grip count on those softs. That's what you want to do. You want to make them work to your advantage. And Joel going wide for the hairpin, and Heat going down the inside, but Joel getting a better run out, keeping that P6 spot. And it's going to be a battle between P6 and P5 now. Meepo and Joel on these soft tires.
Yep, Joel. Great racing from Joel there. You've got to say, like, I mean, people might not have seen that. It looks as though he's going wide, he's making the mistake. But what I think he's actually doing there is purposefully hanging onto the brakes. 3-second penalty there for Joel, though. That could be costly in this battle with Meppo. But I think what he's doing there, he's hanging onto the brakes and letting the car drift out wide to prevent a switchback. So I think that's just terrific racing from Joel rather than a mistake there. I think that's possibly what he was doing. I think he's got that in his locker. He's also got running wide in his locker. That's definitely a thing. So we'll have to talk to him after the race to find out.
Yeah, 6 seconds is going to hurt him big time because 2 guys behind are within that 1 second range already. Got 3 seconds, so it's a 3-second advantage they have already in the bag here. So Joel needs to get his skits on as he's just outside the DRS range off Meepo, just ahead there in P5.
Yep, I think the problem that Joel's got as well at the moment is that he's got 0 ERS. He's used it all up, and he hasn't got much of a chance to save any if he can't get in the DRS range of Meppo. So that could cost him because it means he won't be able to get away from these guys behind him on the softs, because those softs that he's on, they've got 7-8 laps before they start to lose pace to compare to the mediums. So he won't get to the end of the race on really fast soft tyres. They will eventually fall off, but at the same time those mediums are falling off as well.
Yeah, potentially a podium on the cards for Meepo, but the problem for Meepo right now is the guys ahead of him are in a DRS train and they will get that DRS advantage every lap, whereas he doesn't. What he has in his favour is the 2 guys ahead of him have time penalties, 5 seconds and 3 seconds, so if he's able to close that gap down, he might be able to take a spot here or 2.
Christian picks up another penalty. It's not been his day, languishing at the back of the grid for most of it. He had the incident early on, Wesley as well, incidents early on. It didn't work out for them this race, unfortunately. Those incidents cost them big time in the end because it doesn't look as though there's going to be a late safety car. Eagle Ghost picks up a penalty as well. to make it 9 seconds. Edward on 9 seconds as well. So a lot of drivers here struggling with the penalties. Those guys who are on there 0 penalties may well get something very good at it. We've got Chanel Henke at the moment as well. We've not really talked about him much other than that issue with Nebletic. Well, not an issue, but a race with Nebletic he was having kind of thing. But he's currently pushing as hard as he can to get onto the back of these guys, because that train ahead of him, if he can get in within 4 or 5 seconds of those guys ahead, he could gain potentially 2 or 3 positions and get himself into the points paying positions. So all to play for still in this race. 22 laps out of 26 down.
Yeah.
So still got this big battle for the podium as well. Like, I mean, at some point these guys are going to have to start really battling this out, and I think it may be the guy who saved the most DRS that wins that battle. And Yoda and Loff sitting at over 90% at the moment, both sitting pretty. Tonari may have used up too much at this stage, but sometimes the track position matters. Is Tonari going to go for a move here? He's looking to get up on the inside, but he can't get it done. Just not enough space between too much space between the cars, essentially, kind of thing. Couldn't get it done, but he's starting to put pressure on Yoda. But Yoda, yeah, I think, got enough in the bank, really.
Meepo P5 is not closed on that gap at all in the last 2 laps, so I think that spin has cost him a bit of tire performance here, and yeah, I don't think he's going to get that gap down unless the guys ahead to make a mistake, and that is quite possible as they're running so close. Tonari almost pushing Yoda, actually taps him, and Tonari makes a mistake there. Car get a wee bit squirrely on the exit, and that's going to cost him a lot of time. Might drop out of DRS range, gets it this time around, and that's going to save his bacon, I think. As you can see, Meepo closed in a second already in just a few corners.
Yep, just that one error there, and Yoda falling off the back of Loff a little bit as well. But these guys have got penalties, so Loff won't be too worried about them, because even if they get past him, he can still hang on at the back of them and get P2. But
Mercedes off. It's like Magus Beckett's on the hanger straight.
That's Eagle Ghost. Yeah, he looks like he's got no damage though, so he's got away with that one to a degree, but he's about to get lapped by Edge. That's not what you want as a racing driver, I guarantee you. When you get lapped, it just really stings. Not what you want at all. Let's see if we can go back to see if there's any more action to be had in this little group. There's not really, is there? Futuristic, Lavi for Soul, Future and Eversnacks have all seemed to have calmed down a little bit. But that's a big train there, and if issues happen there in this little train here, as people do start to look for a move, maybe gain that extra point there at the end of this race, kind of thing. The penalties all over the place, so nobody really knows where they're going to finish up at the moment. But any kind of dodgy move the last couple of laps here, and then that gives Snell a point, maybe Zeldrine a point as well. So all to play for, still a lot to play for here at the moment, but Tonari has dropped off out of DRS entirely now from Yoda. Big gap there, 1.7 seconds, so he seems, maybe that squirreliness has maybe killed his tyres a little bit, maybe he's just struggling, but this Yoda could be looking to make the move on Loff, but I don't think he's going to keep it regardless. He's going to lose out, but that could be the podium battle over with. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm looking at Loff and Yoda. Obviously, Yoda's got DRS advantage here, running so closely to Loff. Also, Yoda using up a lot of DRS in the first part of this lap. So obviously he wanted to build up that gap a little bit, but look at that 2 seconds from P3 to P4. He needs that. That's it, isn't it? That's what he needs, a 2 second gap.
He needs the gap, but the DRS should give him that alone. So 2.2 now. Now that Tonari hasn't got the DRS, we're seeing exactly how powerful DRS can be, and when you don't have it, you start to fall off very quickly. And could Meepo actually close that gap now? I don't know. Like, he's not got a lot of DRS. It's a big gap to close up. You're talking 4.5 seconds that he needs to make up to get P4. Meepo at this stage really just wants to worry about just finishing the race and collecting these big points from P5. Get the season kick-started, get points on the board. Looks like Schnell has made a mistake there and dropped off the back of the points paying positions as well. Dropped 2-3 seconds there. That's not great for him. That could be his options over as well, as we're coming in at the penultimate lap of the race. So yeah, looks like it's going to settle down, and maybe this is the way it's going to finish. Edge did lose some time eventually to Loff, 3.2 seconds now the gap there, but that's never going to come down in a million years unless Edge has a big mistake, which I don't think he will. He doesn't need to push hard as long as his tyres are in good conditions, which should be. See some black marks on the front left one there as he's driving around, but should be fine. Edge has been in this position last week, now this week again. Looks like he's taking a commanding lead at the top of the championship at the moment. Is Edge. He's had another clean race, tidy race. He's had the pace and had the wherewithal to kind of just lead it from start to finish. I don't think he's got the fastest lap though. I think that's going to go to Meepo. So no, Christian at the moment has the fastest lap with a 28.5. So he's going to steal that point away from all of these top runners.
Oh,
Well
Joel,
done.
another time penalty for Joel. And he wiggles the car in frustration as a heat goes by. Joel has no ERS to use here, no DRS available. And is getting passed by Lavi Visola as well on the outside.
On the outside as well.
Squeezing him on. That might have been a warning for Lavi Visola there, but I think Lavi Visola, nothing too much to worry about. Joel does have that 9 seconds.
Oh, Lavi Visola getting very sideways there.
Oh, and he's going to come under attack from Futuristic behind. Futuristic going down the inside, decides better off it, which is probably the best thing. It's the final lap of the race. You don't want a DNF at this late stage. The bloody 3 second time penalty in P14 there. But yeah, I think these guys are wanting to get this move done on Joel, as Joel is pushing heat through here. He's going to have DRS this time around. Is he going to get the move done? It looks like it will be easy enough for Joel. Retake that P6 spot for now, but that's all going to change on the line as Joel goes very deep. He goes up the inside.
What a switchback, and Joel makes a big mistake there and loses out to Lavi Visola as well. So all going wrong for Joel here. He's got 9 seconds of penalties. He's going to lose both of these positions to Futuristic and Eversnacks as they cross the line as well. So that's gone from what, P6 on track to P10 in the space of no time at all. I don't think he was going to get P6 anyway. But it's all gone horribly wrong for him in the penultimate lap, the final lap there.
I was going to say I saw a yellow flag in the hangar straight, but I think it was a lap car for one of the leaders. But yeah, Edge come around the final corner there. He made it look easy, and I assure you it is not. P1 for Edge.
And he got the fastest lap at the death as well. So he used all of his ERS on that final lap to take that point away. 5 second penalty for Yoda. He hangs on crucially to the podium spot. Loft gets his P2 after disappointment in Imola last week.
And Heat and Lavi Visola are line astern here as they cross the line, and it's Heat pips Lavi Visola for P6.
Eversnacks gets a P8 in the end because of the penalty situation. Futuristic and Joel rounding out the top 10. Some fantastic racing there, you've got to say. Like, that was absolutely fantastic from Heat, Lavi Visola, Eversnacks, Future, Joel. Meepo was really in with a shout of winning this race as well until he made that mistake. But would he have been able to realistically get past Tanari, Yoda and Loff as well? Those guys were rapid as well. So some fantastic racing today.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get to see that challenge from Meepo on those top guys, but yeah, it's another one for just Meepo things, I guess.
I mean, can't be too harsh on him. He's finished. He's got the points on the board. That is the most important thing. This is a short season, we've got to remember. So points are all that. Getting the points there are all that matters, kind of thing. So granted, yes, he's maybe lost out on a few points there. Maybe he could have got to Nari. I'm almost certain he would have got to Nari after the mistake Nari made, and maybe got P4. But you can't sniff at points on the board. Essentially, and that's what he's going to take away from this. He's got points on the board. Edge at the moment is running away with this championship. I mean, already 2 wins in the bag, 6 races to go, and he looks unbeatable. But yeah, that is the race over. As yeah, he's got his steering wheel on the podium there as Edge. But I think as well as Edge taking control of the Drivers' Championship here, we've also got Heat finishing strongly in the points there as well, and putting McLaren in a commanding position for the Drivers' Championship, the Constructors' Championship, I should say, as well. So, can anybody challenge McLaren for the Constructors at the moment as well? We've got Alfa Romeo getting a strong finish there, as they didn't have any points last week, I don't think. So they're on the board in terms of points as well. Alpha Tauri, poor week this week for them, 11th and 14th. They were P3 in the Constructors coming at this, and Haas as well, dropping out as well. No Haas driver in the top 10 at all this week. Yeah, is anybody... Ferraris are up there. Aston Martin maybe will be climbing some positions there in the Constructors as well, with Loff getting big points for them. And Red Bull in the points this week as well. 6 points last week, a lot more this week. Let's see if we've got any drivers looking for an interview. So Futuristic and Eversnacks, both there. Let's bring in Futuristic. Futuristic, absolutely fantastic racing there, but very tense and tight racing for the last 6 to 10 laps or so, kind of thing. Tell us, walk us through from your perspective. How nerve-wracking was that? How were you planning your strategy?
6 to 10. Did you watch the race? We were in a train with Heat, Snacks, me, Lavi, and Heat.
Yeah,
for the whole 26 laps.
Caught a lot of it, but like it got tense in the last 6 to 10.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, it was hard because Silverstone, it's so easy. It's easy to follow, but it's hard to overtake when you're in a train. So
Very hard, yeah.
if the first guy doesn't make a move, you are basically stuck. So I tried to get in early and split the strategy, but I undercut one guy, but he was still in front, so I couldn't really get away. So
he seemed extremely rapid today as well, kind of thing. But you had a lot of good battles with him. Talk us really like how you felt with that. Was it respectful racing, or you kind of a bit annoyed with maybe bits of it, kind of thing? Talk us through your perspective of your battle with Heat specifically.
Well, it's always a bit annoying to be behind one, but it was hard racing, I would say. So I'm pleased with the racing, but not the result.
Yeah, it's certainly a very political way to put it, but yeah. Points on the board for Red Bull. I can't remember if you got points last week. I think you did. You got points last week as well. So you seem to have established yourself as a point runner. How do you feel you can do for the rest of the season? Do you think it's just about kind of get as many points each race as you can, or do you think you can maybe challenge later on if things go wrong further up?
Well, if it's gonna get wrong up ahead, it has to be going really bad for them. So, but now Yoda is alongside me again, so we can hope probably get some more points towards the constructors and gain a few positions. So
yeah, I think you'll almost certainly overtake. You'll almost certainly overtake the Williams this week, possibly the Alpha Tauris as well, because you've got a good point haul there from Yoda's P2. P3, sorry, I should say. But yeah, we'll wish you the best of luck in that constructors if that's what you're going to be focusing on. But we'll move on to the next interview. But thanks for coming, Future. We'll take care. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. So we've got Eversnacks in next. Eversnacks, great race there, but not what you would hope for coming back. People were accusing you of industrial sandbagging at the beginning of the race, kind of thing. Have you proved those haters wrong? With that one, you would have expected ordinarily to be much higher up the grid, I imagine.
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, I haven't had a lot of practice over the break. Was just a bit of a slow race. Just wanted to, get back into racing, get back into the action slowly. I think I've done that today, pretty slow. I think I could have done a bit better without the penalty, of course, and maybe not getting stuck in that train. But yeah, was some really good wheel-to-wheel fighting. So we were fighting for pretty much the whole race. Bit fewer position changes than I would have liked, being at the back of the train and all. But apart from that, I had fun.
Nah, not like you can do that, as we just heard from Future there. If you're stuck in the back of a train kind of thing, you've got to really rely on the guy just behind the guy who hasn't got DRS making the move, so that everybody else can make the move, and then if they're not fast enough to get away, then you're just in the same position, essentially. Just the front two guys are fighting out until one of them wins, which never seemed to happen with you guys, but that's what we want. We want close, tight racing. That penalty that you got in the end kind of thing really cost you. If you hadn't have got that penalty, you may have jumped everyone in that train. How gutted were you when you received that? Because that was a 5-second one for speeding in the pit lane, was it?
Yeah, exactly. I was quite annoyed. It was a pretty spontaneous pit stop. I decided to do the opposite of the guys in front because I was stuck in the train even before the pit stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting that penalty there because of I went into the pits a bit too enthusiastically. Didn't work out in the end because of the penalty, but. Yeah, I mean, still points for me today. I think it's a good start back into the action. Some really good defensive driving from Heat, of course, keeping everybody behind for I don't know how many laps.
Yeah, he
Um,
seemed to be doing very well, I have to say. Kind of
yeah.
thing. We might pull him for the next and last interview. Kind of thing. But how do you feel about Singapore, which is up next, and the rest of the season? Do you think you can get this pace back? Can you fight at the top, or are you going to be just looking for points where and when you can?
Chief, why are we racing in Singapore? Why are we not racing in Canada? Come on.
Free Canada, let's go.
Yeah, nah, Singapore is definitely not my track, but we'll see. We'll see. I've had good races there, at least until I hit a wall. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. If you can avoid the walls, you can gain a lot of positions. But we'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll pull in the next interviewer. I can't decide, to be honest, Chief. Here, who we're going to interview Heat. I want to interview Heat. I also want to interview Edge,
Yeah,
and I
Edge.
also want to interview Tenari as well. So I don't know who to bring in. I'll let you decide.
Yeah, I think Edge, because I think he was looking to get
But
away. So
we interviewed him last week. And we haven't interviewed like Heat at all, and we haven't interviewed Tenari at all. Like we've got to keep it spread, haven't we? Like I don't know. Like I can't decide. You're the man. You're the OG. You're the OC.
yeah, let's
You
bring
pull
the winner
someone.
in. I think he earned it, the right to go first. So yeah, Edge. Yeah, welcome. You're in the commentator's booth. How did it go for you today? Looked pretty easy from the outside.
Well, it was. Love had pretty much the same pace and yeah, basically the undercut worked really well, but I heard that he was hold up in the pits, so that's why we had such a big gap.
Yes,
Like it was 4.5.
something definitely
when-
went wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 4.5 when he came out, and he cut it down to 2.8, and I beat him to the fastest lap by 8 thousandths at the end. So yeah, I would say we had pretty much the same pace in the race. So it's a shame for Love, because without his bad luck, it would have been a really close fight in Imola and in here as well. So
Yeah, it certainly would have. But does that give you confidence though? Because now you've got 2 wins on the board, and Loff has none. And if he's your main rival in the championship at the moment, you've got to be happy having points on the board, especially with such a short season. And you must get much more
Yeah.
confident that you can win this championship.
well, after 2 races, I wouldn't say that, because we still have Singapore, we have Baku and Japan as well, which anything can go wrong really quickly. So I can't be too calm about it, seeing low space as well. So
Yeah, I think as
it's
long
a
as
good start, but yeah, we will have to see at the end how we are.
certainly do. But yeah, I mean, you were absolutely dominant again with the pace today. You're qualifying. You've done it twice in a week now, 2 weeks in a row, where you've come in and smashed at a banker lap that absolutely dominates everybody else. And then for the rest of the qualifying, you kind of lays about, really, for want of a better term, kind of thing. You don't really do much, kind of thing. But is that a tactic of yours to kind of get psychologically into people's heads, or is it just that's the pace you've got and then you can't match it?
That's the pace I've got. I don't really do these games. Well, for the second run, I accidentally went out on the same tires, so yeah, I had to go back to the pits. And the last run I validated, but I definitely had like 2 or 3 tenths in me. But yeah, it seems like in quali I have the edge. But
Yeah.
in the race, it's a completely different story. I
Yeah,
mean, it
definitely.
doesn't matter if we are P2 by half a tenth or half a second, it's still P2.
Certainly not. Certainly doesn't. But you definitely seem to have advantage over people in qualifying for sure. And if I think your fans might want to know, kind of thing, tier 1 when? Have you got any plans at all to drop assists?
Well, we will see how
Oh.
the championship goes. I'm not gonna promise that this season, but on the next game, definitely. I want to fight for this championship, so. and
Yeah, certainly.
need
I can
life for
understand that.
So,
For sure.
yeah,
But as somebody who's done it recently, dropping the assists, I think the best advice I can give somebody is just do it. Just drop them
yeah,
and don't go back. Just get rid of the crotch and then accept that you're going to be slow. But obviously, if in a new game, that's a lot easier to do because you've got no times or things like that on the boards and things like that kind of thing. And if you're fighting for a championship, it's very, very difficult to then drop assists that possibly drop
Yes.
maybe a second or 2 in pace.
yeah. The pace is like one thing, but I tried it at Imola to drop line, and it was really shaky, and I think it would be dangerous for me to race like that. I mean, dangerous for others. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll keep practicing, and we will see.
yep, keep up with it, and yeah, like I think it was say like it's switching between one and the other kind of thing. It never really helps kind of thing. But consistency is I think what you're talking about kind of thing. If you haven't got the if you haven't got the line there, it's very easy to make to switch off and make a minor
Yeah.
mistake that can send you flying, particularly in a track like Silverstone as well with Maggots and Beckett, as difficult as it is. But we'll leave
Yeah.
it there, and love you and leave you. We've all got places to be and people to see, but congratulations on yet another win.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Take care.
Bye.
So that is that for another week of racing. It was a very exciting one. I'm really looking forward. Well, I don't know if I'm looking forward or not looking forward to TR1 on Friday, because on the one hand, it should be some great racing if that's anything to go by. On the other hand, there's lots of aliens in my tier, and I can't race any of them.
You can race me. Well, if I'm there,
I mean,
might be amateur weekend.
I mean, I've seen your pace recently, Chief, and I don't know if it's time to start counting you as one of these aliens.
No,
It might
that's
be.
funny.
It
yeah,
might
that is
be.
funny.
It might be time. But yeah, hopefully we can kind of. Maybe, I was so close to a points-paying position last week. Maybe I can get into it this week. But with Silverstone being a more popular track and maybe being a few more guys on the grid this week, it might not be possible. But looking forward to it regardless of what happens. I think I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully my teammate Fedevara can stay on the track this time, get some much needed constructors points for us. But other than that, yeah, I haven't really got anything left in me, to be honest. Any departing pieces of wisdom from season 4, well, season 7, wasn't it? Champion tier 4?
No, I've run out of wisdom a long time ago. Yeah, just looking forward to the race on Friday, whether I'm commentating or driving. It's always a good show, as we saw today. Nice dry race, but plenty of battles throughout. Kept us on our toes, Kebab. And yeah, we're ready for bed now, us old geezers.
Certainly am. But yeah, we'll love you and leave you. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it all helps. But yeah, take care. Have a good one.